Welcome to the Innovative Volunteerism Voices pod, where we discuss ideas and discuss solutions to the challenges that we face as a global community, especially when it comes to environmental issues and how we can inspire and usher young people into climate action solutions. Today, I have a special guest who's going to be explaining to us how she has leveraged a tool called Innovative Volunteerism to inspire not just herself, but to turn environmental challenges into opportunities. She will explain how this journey has taken her throughout the entire period that she's been doing this and the lessons learned from these that can actually be helpful to those who are listening in today. With me here on studio is Daniel Munang. Daniel Munang, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Excellent. I'm doing very good. How do you feel to be back to the spot again?
As you guys know, it's not my first time on the spot. However, I'm always happy to be back here to share my ideas of what I've been doing recently.
Excellent, excellent. So today we're going to go through the journey. You've been on the spot before, and you've actually been able to explain how you have leveraged innovative volunteerism to be able to turn environmental challenges into opportunities. So what I would like today for us to have a conversation around how that journey has actually transpired over time. And so to the viewers who are watching us now, what can you be able to tell them about innovative volunteerism? How has the journey transpired? We last spoke about this in October last year. Now we are in April. So what would you say has been the journey like?
Thank you for the question. I think that the journey has been pretty good throughout the way. For those of you guys who are watching in the summer, July, August, you would know that I was focusing mainly on tote bags. I do still do reusable tote bags. However, I've ventured into other areas of fashion design, including shirts and dresses. So by diversifying into these fields, I am truly turning sustainable fashion into a reality. So what I've been doing since the summer, July, August, has been venturing into other areas of fashion design, which included fashion illustration and sewing dresses and shirts.
Excellent, excellent. That's very, very interesting. So somebody listening would say, what is this innovative volunteerism? I have kids at home. They come back from school, they play. But this year is a 13-year-old who is talking about innovative volunteerism. So what would you tell a 13-year-old kid what innovative volunteerism actually is?
That's a very good question. I would tell someone around my age that innovative volunteerism is a mindset tool which allows people to turn challenges into opportunities using their passions. So, for example, it doesn't only have to be fashion and design. It could also be simple things like advocating for recycling, reusing your clothes, reducing your waste. Simple things like that, turning a challenge that you have into an opportunity to solve environmental issues.
Excellent. That is good. But to do this, one needs inspiration and some kind of passion. So what makes you passionate about doing what you do?
What makes me passionate about innovative volunteerism is that the environment is an issue that affects all of us, no matter where we are in the world. So innovative volunteerism is extremely important to me because without doing innovative volunteerism, it's very likely that we'll see our planet falling apart. So by taking initiatives such as innovative volunteerism to combat and reduce the impacts of climate change, it's important to me because by doing this, you're indirectly reducing climate change and helping everybody have a planet that we can call Earth.
Excellent. There is this conversation sometimes that we hear. Young people, especially your age, and even those who are older but still have a young heart, believe that without money they cannot be able to do anything. So what message can you be able to tell them today?
I'd like to tell them that, for example, you don't need money for everything. Well, for me, I do fashion design. You do need money for a machine. However, to generate ideas, it's free. YouTube is free. You can go to YouTube, search up ideas on what you want to do and how you learn it, so that even though you are not using money to get those things, you're still developing mental money by having the knowledge, because knowledge is power. And from that knowledge, you can start to share your ideas with people. And who knows, they may even sponsor you to get the materials you need. So although you kind of need money for the things that you need to start your business, getting ideas is free, and that's how you're supposed to start your business and to start your innovative volunteerism. So I feel like with people who say that without money you can't do it, YouTube is free, sources are free, websites are free for you to go develop your skills and learn and to develop knowledge about the area, because even researching is still part of innovative volunteerism because you're becoming aware of different issues.
Excellent. That's really amazing. I brought up this question because the idea with some people is always that without money you cannot be able to do anything. But you are here a living testament that you started things not necessarily with money. So if somebody who's listening today, hearing innovative volunteerism for the first time, say, but I'm hearing this word, it's just a word. So what has actually been done using this approach? What would you say you have been able to do practically using this approach?
Using the approach of innovative volunteerism, I've been able to sew many different shirts, dresses, and tote bags. However, through those things, I did not use money to start in the beginning. I used YouTube, using websites to learn and develop knowledge on how to sew these things and the impacts environmentally of sewing them. So I think what I've done through innovative volunteerism is, of course, practically learning how to sew and sewing and improving my skills within fashion and design and fashion illustration. However, I've also increased my knowledge of the environment and of fashion through simple sources, through researching, which is free. So to the viewers who want to say, what have I done through innovative volunteerism, is improve my skill through sewing and improve my knowledge through researching.
Yeah, wonderful. That is really great. I think when we take a break and come back, maybe you can be able to show some of the things that you've done to the viewers out there. So for those who are watching, please leave your comments and we'll be able to answer some of these aspects. For now, we're going to take a break and I'll see you after the break. Climate change is not just an environmental issue. Climate change is a health issue. Climate change is a food security issue. Climate change is an economic issue. Climate change is a national and regional and global security issue. And more importantly, climate change is about jobs for our young people. Climate change is about helping mothers put food on the table and more money in more pockets. Climate change is about justice and equality. But what we are seeing is injustice and inequality, and we cannot take this lightly. And that's why voices matters. Innovative volunteerism voices, innovative volunteerism, an incubation space that is inspiring and ushering young people into solution spaces, helping them to turn their passions into profit. It's seeing them devise and develop innovations, simple innovations that are helping turn challenges of mothers in communities into opportunities. That's what innovative volunteerism voices is all about. It's about solutions. It's about coming together and inspiring one another to all become solution providers to turn the climate challenge into a climate opportunity. And that's what we call climatepreneurship, where young people are creating enterprises. They are creating ingenuity. They are moving climate challenge into opportunity that are helping them create businesses and put more money in their pockets as they help mothers put food on the table. That's what Innovative Volunteerism Voices is all about. On this channel, Innovative Volunteerism Voices, we see solutions undertaken by young people. We see graduates from universities retooling their skills, turning their skills into opportunities. That's what you will listen and that's what you will see. Here we speak solutions. Here we speak ideas on how those ideas have helped put food on the table of a mother in a village. Here, nothing else triumphs but new knowledge. That's what Innovative Volunteerism Voices stands for. Inspiration to usher others into action. Inspiration to inspire others to see themselves as the solution providers. Because let's always remember, we are the ones we need.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back, and it's a conversation today on how we can leverage innovative volunteerism to turn our environmental challenges into opportunities. And I'm having a conversation with my daughter, Danielle Munang, who has passionately ushered herself to become a solution provider by embracing innovative volunteerism. And I will now ask Danielle a very simple question that I asked before. You are doing innovative volunteerism, and you have taken your time to retool your skills. So can you show to the viewers out there what you have done using innovative volunteerism, and then explain exactly what each of what you have done is all about? Over to you, Daniel.
Sure, of course. I can show the viewers what I've been doing. So this bag, I made it quite a while ago. However, I still choose to show it every time because this was one of the first bags I learned how to make after I researched and learned about tote bags. And this, I made a shirt recently, a dress actually. It's not 100% done. However, I made this through researching, and although it was my first time making this sort of dress, I just researched and tuned my skills into learning a new thing, which was venturing into dresses. So these are the two
Wonderful.
things I've made so far, and I've made more, and with time to come, you'll definitely be seeing new things on the spot.
Excellent. That is amazing. So how long did it take you to do this? For those who are watching out there, they may want to know how long it took you to make the dress and also the back, because I know that you've been making other things. You didn't bring all of them, but at least you can talk through some of them and how long it made you. Because people, there is this attitude that people love product and they don't want to go through the process. But they forget to know that it's only when you go through the process that you can then be able to have a product. Now that you're showing the product, so people will say, oh, I would like to get maybe the bag that you made using recyclable material. But maybe they also like to know the process. So if you take the dress, for example, what makes that dress a recyclable dress and the bag?
So what makes the bag a reusable bag is because one of the problems we've mainly been facing throughout the world is single-use plastic bags being thrown into our landfills and not decomposing as quickly as other things. However, with this reusable bag, you can use it more than once, unlike single-use plastic bags. And through this, you're able to be sustainable as you're using things more than once and reducing your waste. And for the dress, what makes this dress environmentally friendly is that I'm sharing a challenge, which is a lack of dresses and lack of sustainable and innovative dresses into an opportunity. So although the main purpose of this dress isn't to be sustainable, it's me tuning in my skill so that in the future I can maybe even develop fabrics that are sustainable using sustainable cottons rather than using materials that are not as sustainable.
Yeah, can you just show the dress again, and so the reviewers can then be able to see? How long did it take you to sew that dress, if I might ask?
It took me about an hour and 30 minutes.
Oh, really? An hour?
Yeah.
Wow.
About an hour, 30 minutes. Because
that is amazing. But somebody could also say, so how long did it take you to develop the skill to use an hour to sew such a dress? Can you show the dress so that at least viewers can see?
Sure. The dress isn't 100% done yet, so
right.
The edges are still frayed. But due to this interview, I'd like to show the process. So this is how it looks like. It's a mid-length, and you asked me how long it took me to develop the skills. I'd say about 2-3 years, yeah, because I ventured into innovative volunteerism when I was like 11. Started joining clubs and stuff regarding sewing, and so the skill that it took me, it didn't only take me 1 hour 30 minutes, but it took me 2 years to develop the skills and the confidence to do these things. However, everybody is different, and it could even take some people 6 months, 3 months, depending on if you have anything else you're pursuing.
Excellent. There is this attitude that we see across the world, especially in developing continents, for example, like Africa, where the discussion always starts, government have to do this, government have to do that. Of course, government creates an enabling environment. Do you believe that the problems we face are as a result of government failures or as a result of citizens who are not seizing opportunities?
Oh wow, that's a loaded question. Okay, so my answer to that is I believe that sometimes governments do things that generally do not sit well with everybody. However, I do believe that no matter the crisis, no matter your government situation, if you're truly passionate about something, you can find a way to turn that challenge, which in some people's cases is the government, which isn't enabling citizens to do things through different ways. So if you truly through using innovative volunteerism, you're able to turn the challenge, which like I said, is government for some people, into an opportunity to develop yourself and solve environmental problems. So in conclusion, I believe that it's not necessarily the government's fault, although the government can sometimes not stimulate people to pursue their passions and not be the most enabling environment. However, I think completely blaming the government makes no sense, because even if we had the most stimulating government everywhere in the world, there's still going to be some people who are going to complain. So I believe that if you truly want to do something, you could use innovative volunteerism formula, which is turning a challenge into an opportunity.
Wonderful, Daniel. I mean, I'm really impressed with your answer. I mean, this is a question that I've never really asked a young person that I asked you today. And I think you from what you're saying is that the quality of citizens is just as important. That sometimes we need to do things not because we need to just wait for government. Of course, government have a role to play. The role of government is to create an enabling environment for citizens to be able to drive transformational development. But where government slows to do that, or delays to do that, citizens cannot just wait, but they need to take up what is within their means to do that. And part of it is retooling skills, learning a trade, just like you've learned sewing, and start to do something that can then be able to put more money in more pockets and food on the table.
100%,
and that is the attitude that every young person listening anywhere. And when I talk young people, it's not you are 13 years old, but there are people who are 40 years, there are people who are 50 years, but still have a heart of youthfulness, because youthfulness is ideas. It's not just about age, the way I usually say it. So the way you have explained it, I think this is quite very, very inspiring. And because we're in the sport, the innovative volunteerism sport, I will give you an opportunity after this commercial break to ask me some few questions that you might have to ask. And we will be right back.
Let's embrace innovative volunteerism. Away, as you go. Rise up, rise up. You and me are the solution to this.
And we're back again. Yes, I can see actually comments streaming in. I can see a comment from Richard Wambua, a very good friend of mine and my namesake. He says that actually government should do this or that. They're complaining, like it's always said. He said, we need to benchmark ourselves. As I once said, that we must catalyze the change and actions that we need ourselves. I think that's quite very, very what we must do as people in our communities. And I can see Mercy here saying it's a great discussion. Thank you very much, Mercy. Thank you, Richard. I can see Doveta saying, good job, Daniel. Congratulations. You should keep the spirit. You see viewers are actually appreciating. I can see Frank indicating that this is good work. And I can see Lydia indicating she is following the interesting discussion. I can see right from Nigeria, Kayode indicating nice work, and people all across. I can see Promise right from Nigeria indicating good work. People are watching from across the entire world, and this is a conversation that is long overdue for us to always be conversing. I can see people from India that are watching. So the point now is we need to look at the reality of how development can be done. And what I'm talking about job creation for the young people. you are a student and you are actually going to high school, and I would like you to share a word of advice to people your age and even those who are older like us, what you think makes a difference for someone to develop that burning passion to do something despite the fact that they're still going to school. So what would you say?
That's a great question. I would say that you should just find something you're interested, try out a whole bunch of things, and find a way to turn it into a passion of yours. And through that, you can use innovative volunteerism to turn a challenge that people in your community face into an opportunity for you to enhance your skills and to become better at it and to help other people. For example, I started off doing art. I still do art. I used to go to art centers. I'm still going to be going to art centers to develop my skills. However, I've developed an interest in fashion, which would allow me to use my art skills to do fashion illustration, which illustrates sustainable fashion skills. So I believe through me starting up with art, it allowed me to venture into fashion design, which I am very happy that I ventured into because it's very rewarding and it's very satisfying to me. So I give that
Excellent.
advice to the youth that just find whatever you're interested in. It doesn't have to be sewing. It could be anything else really. Just find something that you're passionate about and find a way to relate to the environment so that we can come together and combat climate change.
Wonderful, 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 wonderful. That is excellent. I can see Richard Wambua in saying great attitude, Daniel. I always emphasize that if only everyone spend just a fraction of the time they spend on social media to learn a skill, even just about 15 minutes a day, we will go far. This is quite a very important aspect. What is your advice to the young people who go on social media they go to social media to showcase just what they have been up to, holidays in Miami or something like that, or they go to social media to just show their wannabe spirit, what would you tell them? Because there's a lot of time that is wasted on social media by the young people, but it's a missed opportunity because they could use that time maybe to market themselves in terms of what they have to offer, rather than just showcasing photos and what they're eating and where they're swimming and all those sort of things. What are your thoughts on this?
Oh wow, that's another loaded question. What I think about that is that social media is not a bad platform through any means, shape, or form. However, it's just the way you use it. So if you're on social media for an hour, maybe you can reduce that time to 45 minutes learning a new skill. Going on Instagram pages which show people how to sew. Going instead of looking and commenting on social media models pages, you could see what they're wearing and how you can make it sustainable. And in 15 minutes, you don't through little pieces a day of trying to improve your time on social media to being productive instead of going on Instagram and hearing the new song. You could go on Instagram and see on camera model pages and see how you could recreate that look with using the skills and using the materials you have. So I think that social media isn't bad at all. I think social media is an amazing platform. However, I feel like changing the way you use the platform would definitely help promote innovative volunteerism.
Wonderful. Do you think that the young people of today are lost with the way that they embrace technology to show off rather than to showcase what they do?
Oh, that's a very controversial question. I'm not going to use the word lost because I don't think they're lost. I think that some guidance, because young people today, they're doing very good things. You see them developing robotics, developing social media. You see them
Correct.
getting into ICT, getting into different factors and trades and stuff. So I wouldn't use the word lost because we're not lost. I feel like the priorities have shifted on social media from showcasing what you've done to showing off what you want to do. So I think that we're not lost. I think that because I'm a youth myself, so I'm not going to say that we're lost because
Excellent.
I'd say that we're not lost, but I think slight redirection would make social media.
So what you are saying is
a better
exactly
thing. Yeah.
What we are saying is, first of all, I think the beauty of that question and the way you're answering it is, first of all, there is a certain level or amount of pressure on the weight of young people to somehow showcase, even if they have not done something, but to start to showcase whether they went on vacation. But the missing point is that instead of them working on something to showcase, like Riley said, of course, in robotics, young people are developing robotics. Young people are developing information communication technology applications, which we are seeing across Africa and the world, where mothers can be able to connect to markets. We've seen these applications that have been developed by young people, developed through innovative volunteerism. That's excellent. But when you look at the majority of young people, the urgency of now to seize the opportunity, because when we were growing up, we didn't have internet. When we were growing up, we didn't have these laptops that many have today. When we were growing up, we didn't have the opportunities to be connected like this, to then be able to even converse innovative volunteerism. So when you look at the opportunities of now versus then you will notice that at least the ability and the speed with which young people are tapping opportunities, it's not actually matching the necessity of our time. So the point is, there needs to be some speeding up. There needs to be some aggressive move towards tapping these opportunities to turn challenges to opportunities. So that is really fine. And I think I can see Mercy says the youth need to be involved and fully participate. This can be achieved through information dissemination across the board, because we also have youth who are not on social media, and we have to think about capacity building among the youth in Africa. Yeah, that's a very important point. From that, what I want to say is, and then I will ask your opinion on this, not every youth will be or will ever be on social media, because not every community, especially in the African continent, is connected to the internet or even to electricity. But what could happen is that we can have what we call early adopters or early movers of ideas. So if you are in Nigeria or in Lagos City or in Kenya, in Nairobi or in Mombasa or in Cameroon, in Yaoundé, or in Lusaka, in Zambia, or in Lomé, in Togo, and you have an opportunity to be connected to the internet to learn, then you must then be able to transmit that opportunity to work with the community in the vicinities of your country. That way, you train other youth who must not necessarily be in social media, and then who can take the idea down to the community. So then it becomes action, inspiring action, and then we use what we learn from the internet and then take it to other people. And that ability can only come through one word called passion. Now that takes me to the question. A lot of people today do not know what they are passionate about. What does it take to be passionate?
Thank you for the question. I think what it means to be passionate about something is like to feel that you can continue learning about something without it being boring. Like, for example, like I said before, I started off with art. I still really love art and still continue to go to art centers to develop my skills. However, I use that skill to develop into fashion, which I believe that to find a passion is to continue to learn about something and to be able to just spread your knowledge without it seeming boring to you. So that's what I'd say. When you find your passion is when you continue to learn something without it being boring. That's what I'd say. And to continue to go and do your thing without it seeming like a chore, or without it seeming like you have to do it more than like you want to do it.
Excellent. We are almost about 1 minute to 30 minutes, and we have about 15 minutes to go. This is the spot, and in this spot, everybody can be put on the spot. So over to you. If you have some questions that you wanted me to answer, please feel free. Over to you, Daniel.
Okay, one of my questions include that how do you deal with the people who say that innovative volunteerism, like for the people who don't know the difference between innovative volunteerism and regular volunteerism? What do you say to the people that isn't this just the same thing as just volunteering? What do you say to the people who say that? And what is the difference between innovative volunteerism and volunteering? As they are both very good, but what separates innovative volunteerism from volunteering?
Yeah, very good question. The reality is that the word innovative itself separates volunteerism, because the innovativeness of what you do already is an added value from just volunteering. Because if you volunteer your time to learn how to sew, You are not just learning how to sew clothes, but you are learning how to sew clothes that can actually reduce the weight of the impact on the environment. Recyclable dresses, recyclable bags. But part of the innovativeness is that you are going to do things differently as they have been done before, because you can volunteer to do something, not necessarily because it is for a right cause. But innovativeness means that you are doing it because it must become a solution. So volunteering doesn't always mean that it is for a right cause. But innovative volunteerism means that you are innovatively looking at how you can be able to turn a challenge into an opportunity. And the first person that volunteers is yourself, by using your skill, by perfecting your talent to become a skill, and then by applying effort so that a result can be achieved. And as a result of that, the first person you build is yourself, because then you retool your skill, because the biggest capital that we have is to be skilled, because a skilled person is actually 4 times more than produced capital and 15 times more than natural capital. What does that mean? If you are able to give money to somebody who is skilled and knowledgeable about a subject matter and knowledgeable about doing something, you're going to get value for that money more than somebody who doesn't have the skill to do that job. But most of the time, what has happened is that we talk about capacity building. Building capacity for what? What is more important is capacity development, building on what people already have. Because that is why I asked the question, what makes you to be passionate? I'm passionate about, if you are passionate about sewing, you are not just going to start sewing because you are passionate. You first of all start by developing a skill, by building a skill, by learning. And for you to do that, you need to voluntarily volunteer yourself to create the time to practice that skill. What are you practicing skill for? To turn a challenge into an opportunity. Do what? Sew a dress that is a recycled dress, not just a dress that can be done somewhere else and it will not recycle, then it will add more burden to the environment. If it is a youth who is excited about reducing the problem of charcoal that mothers are using across the continent, and they are choking their lungs and causing over 700,000 deaths, he said, okay, I want to turn agricultural waste into fuel briquettes. But I first of all need to learn the skill. So they need to volunteer that time. Go to the internet. Instead of browsing through photos on Facebook and Instagram, they look at how to make briquettes, which if you Google it, you will see it. They start to study. So if they're students, they come back from school each and every day, spend 30 minutes just to practice that. When they practice that, they get down to the community to actually practicalize how do I turn agricultural. So these are the practical steps. So innovative volunteerism is actually an opportunity to learn something, to do something that will put money in your pocket and food on the table and create more opportunities. Volunteerism on its own may not necessarily be to solve only a problem. And even if you are volunteering for a right cause and doing something, it does not necessarily mean that it will put money in your pocket. And that is why we came up with the aspect of innovative. What is innovative solutions to the challenges we face? But you can only get the answers to that by volunteering yourself to learn a new skill and apply it in an innovative way to turn a challenge into an opportunity. Over to you, Daniel.
Oh, okay. So my next question for you is that how do you find time to mentor youth across the continent? Because that's not your only job. You're also deputy director for the United Nations Environmental Program. So how do you find the time to do that?
Well, passion. Passion is that burning flame inside you that actually makes you to operate beyond your normal state. And for you to do that, you must be able to find your purpose. And what is the purpose? The purpose of life is to be useful. And the usefulness of any human being is to do that which goes beyond his or her family to touch other people's lives. Because of that, I am passionate about seeing young people become solution providers, not complainers in chief. Because we complain so much and we always talk problem after problem after problem, but it doesn't solve anything. The problem we talk today, tomorrow we'll talk the same problem. In 10 years, the same problem. So it drains. And because of that, it makes me passionate to then engage young people, to guide them so that at least they can turn their talent into skills and use those skills to turn challenges into opportunities. And by doing that, we will be turning challenges to opportunities through the environmental lens. And so what keeps me awake is to put a smile on other people's faces. What makes me to mentor other people is that ability to then ensure that at least we can add value and at the same time be useful to our community. And one thing that we need to always know is that you can always create time for anything that you are passionate about. And we have 24 hours in a day. And those who makes a difference still have those very 24 hours as compared to those who don't make a difference. So the excuse of not doing something is something that we should never entertain, because if you create 30 minutes, you can do something. If you don't create 30 minutes, you will not still do something. So each and everyone needs to look at how they can be able to use the 24 hours. And there is this simple arithmetic. Actually, 8 hours of work is put, 8 hours of leisure is there, and 8 hours of sleep. If you reduce 8 hours of leisure and add to 8 hours of work, reduce 8 hours of sleep and add to 8 hours of work, you will end up having more hours of work and then less hours of leisure and less hours of sleep, and then you become more useful. Because people only come to you when you're useful. That's a fact. People may pretend about this. The reality is, if you cannot offer value, people will not flock to you. People flock towards value. And value is what? Skill. So if somebody have a problem today with, and you've been doing this, people bring their addresses for you to repair. Why? Because you can offer value. How do you offer the value? You learn a skill. That skill needed time. So you sacrifice your time to get a skill, which now becomes your value, and then you exchange it for money. How did you do that? By creating time. How do you create time? You reduce leisure. Instead of playing and going around jumping or posting only photos on Facebook, you decided to learn to go to Facebook or to go to YouTube and learn a skill. So that is how it is. Over.
This is similar to the last question I asked, but what do you say to people who say that we only have one life, so I should live it how I want, or so you don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow, so we should just go and chop life. So what do you say to those people who are only thinking about now and not about the future regarding the environment?
I think they're selfish. You know, one of the purpose of life is to be useful. And your usefulness is to do that which touches other people's lives, not only yourself or your immediate family. And I'll keep repeating this. If you cannot do something to touch another person's life, a mother who is choking, dying across the continent, mothers dying across the continent, and children dying just because they do not have an alternative source of fuel. They use charcoal because that's the only thing they have to cook. And we know that if we are able to learn a skill and start turning ways to fuel briquettes, we can reduce their dependence on charcoal and even make it cheaper for them to afford. We fold our arms and complain and say that I'm not going to do anything because I don't know about tomorrow. That's selfishness. When we know that if we're able to do that, then we can be able to solve a problem. And then that talk that we don't know about tomorrow, so I'm not going to do anything today. Tomorrow we still see the same people who said that yesterday, and then the other day we'll still see them. So it's just an excuse for people not to be able to take responsibility and relegate responsibility to others as they do what fits them today, as they complain about tomorrow. So I would sum this up in that we should be able to always ask the question, what am I useful for? And what can I do today that can make tomorrow better? That do not necessarily benefit me, but benefit the entire community. That way, those questions of, I cannot do something today because life is too short, that we hear from people, then we'll move to, I must do something today because my existence should be to address challenges of communities for the broader benefit and collective benefit of all. That is the attitude we must develop. And that attitude needs three aspects. It needs self-discipline to do that which is not convenient, but to do that which is right. Right? If we are learning, you are learning a skill to turn a challenge in a community, to reduce their dependence on charcoal, to reduce their dependence on stuff that cannot be recycled, but to bring in opportunities for things that are recyclable. That is what we must do. And as a result of that, your presence will mean that it is meaningful because you are providing solutions. The other aspect, which is very, very important, is mindset change. Because the biggest issue that holds us back is the attitude that we will do things the same way. We are not happy about something, but we are not unhappy with the situation to do something about it. So somebody tells you, I'm not happy with it, but you say, okay, what are you then doing to address it? They don't give you any answer. So we must become angry with challenges, but inspired with the challenges to devise solutions. And the last part, which is quite very, very important, is we must become selfless. And selflessness is to do that which do not only benefit us, but which benefit the broader community. And the tenets of selflessness is to define what are we useful for. And our usefulness is to address challenges. But within that, develop what I call an on-board vision, which is, where do you want to go? And what do you need to take you there? What you need is your skill. So we need skills retooling so that at least we can be armed with the requisite skills to offer value. And that value should be to take a community that is currently suffering today for lack of water by devising means in which they can access water, by devising means in which they can reduce their post-harvest losses, by developing simple solar dryers, or by devising means in which people can then have opportunities like bags that they can use that are recyclable. That's what you are doing at the moment. And many other youth are doing that across the continent and even the world. So if we then start to structure community from the perspective of what can I as an individual do to benefit others beyond me and my immediate family, we'll start to have that selfless attitude, have people who are developing their skills. And that way, we'll have a society that works for each and everyone. And the challenges we face of climate change, of ecological degradation, of biodiversity loss, and pollution will all be addressed. And that is the attitude that we need to move. Over to you.
Those are all the questions I have for today. So with the remaining about 4 minutes, you could feel free to ask me anything or anything.
Excellent. I would like to get your perspective on the attitude that you must have seen, the complaining attitude, where people don't want to be part of a solution. They want to be part of a product. They complain about everything but themselves. What advice do you have for such people?
Oh, okay. So what I would say is that the people who don't want to be part of the solution and they just want to be part of the product, how do you think the product came? The product came by people making solutions to turn that challenge and then use the solution to create the product. So the people who only want to be part of the product, you have to remember how it came. And to remember how it came, I believe that you need to learn and invest in yourself to become an innovative volunteer, which is what those people have been doing. And to only be part of the product, I think that's kind of selfish because people who are part of the solution, how do you think they feel? They put time into it and put time into the fact that they've been using their skill for a while to develop the product. And now that the product is out, you want to be there associated with the credit. So I feel like to be there with the product, I feel like you should start the same way that other people started. I don't know if that answers the question, but
excellent. That is great. That is great. And what is your take? There is this argument, which is true to an extent, that a schooling system, especially in the African continent and some other parts of the world, are not fit for purpose. Do you have an idea of how the educational system can be made to be fit for purpose? Which is which?
That's a very good question. I feel like the education system, educate students high school, they'll need to pursue higher education. However, I think skills that we need are practical skills, which, for example, at the school I'll be going to, they offer many different technological courses for people who are interested in computer technology, mechanical technology, all those sort of courses. So I'm not sure about schools anywhere else, but I know schools in the West, they generally offer a bunch of technological programs. However, I feel like in different parts of the world, they're not offered. So if your school doesn't offer something, you should take it and you're very interested in it. You should take it up to yourself to learn those skills outside of school. Because the skills that I learned is fashion design. I did not learn it in school. I learned it through art centers, through fashion centers. So if you're really passionate about something, I think you should take the initiative to do it outside of the school you're going to if they did not offer it.
Excellent. School is not just the four walls of a classroom. School is at home.
Exactly.
You can learn at your own time. You can create your own school by retooling your skill, and you do not need anybody to do that. And the last question that I would like to ask you, what is your take with this autopilot mentality of people never setting expectation and putting effort to achieve that? There is the attitude that, okay, no, I can't expect a lot because I don't want my hopes to be dampened when I don't achieve it. Some kind of behavior. What would you have to say to those who always think like that?
For the people who always think like that, I try to say that just start little by little, like baby steps, because I do not just learn how to do this over the span of 1 hour, 30 minutes, like I previously said. It took about 2 years. And if I came into sewing thinking that the first day I learned how to sew a long, nice mermaid dress, a prom style dress, yes, I would have gotten my hook down because people have expectations that within unrealistic time frames. So I think that through setting realistic time frames of how you're going to grow throughout your passion and through what you want to do, you won't get your hopes down because you'll be moving in a way that you're learning one skill at a time, which you can use to develop bigger skills. You're not going to start by making a long mermaid tail dress. You're going to start slowly learning different stitches. I just use the example of sewing. Like, for example, I can also use the example of art. You're not going to learn how to draw Van Gogh's Starry Night picture in one day. You're going to learn how to sketch. You're going to learn how to draw. So, and the same thing, you could even apply to sports. You're not gonna, with basketball, you're not gonna learn how to dunk the first time you're gonna play. You have to learn how to dribble, learn how to do your posting, learn how to
Right.
do layup. So I think
And you
that
have said
getting
something very important there, the attitude of giving up. People want to see something today and just think that you can just jump in and do it. And then
Yeah.
when they don't practice, then they give up. Right?
Exactly.
Very
Like for
interesting.
example, I'm using the example of basketball. You see people like Pascal Siakam playing, Kyle Lowry playing, amazing basketball players. However, they think that you can't just go to your local basketball court and expect to do the same spins as Pascal Siakam, expect to shoot like Curry and stuff like that. Like, you're not going to be making threes like Curry if you've never entered a basketball court in your life. So I believe that if you've never learned how to do something, you can't expect to be at the highest level without developing the foundation to grow. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, very, very excellently said. What can we expect for our next show? We co-host this. So what can you tell viewers to expect for our next episode?
I tell the viewers to expect just expect the unexpected, to be honest. Just expect new things.
I like that. Expect the unexpected, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
just expect
to keep them waiting, right?
Yeah, keep them on their toes, because if I tell you what you're gonna expect, you're already gonna know. So just keep on YouTube, keep on watching the Dr. Munang videos, keep on streaming his LinkedIn, and eventually you'll see the new episode on StreamYard wherever you watch this platform. So expect the unexpected, and all I can say is expect new and amazing things within sustainability, within art, sports, and fashion.
Wonderful. Expect the unexpected, as you've all heard. And Daniel, thank you very much for your amazing time and for providing perspective to the aspect of innovative volunteerism and showcasing to the world what you are doing and how you are doing it. It's been a great pleasure having a conversation with you. And as you said, we should expect the unexpected in our next episode. Until then, guys, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time. Thank you and take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.